Hello and welcome to The Lukey Show. We are in a dopamine crisis. Let me ask you a question. Would you wake up in the morning and immediately have a shot of vodka? If the answer is no, then let me ask you a second question. Why would you then go on your phone and watch TikTok for an hour? Both are dopamine releases. So when I say we're in a dopamine crisis, I really mean it. If I was one of the elites, one of the people on the top of the world, you know what I would do? I would make sure that everyone in the world was occupied by social media for many hours of the day so that they, A, are distracted, and B, waste hours of their day not being productive and not achieving their goals. Because that would benefit me and I could keep all the money for myself. Well, luckily I'm not one of the elites. But I am someone who decided to break out of what they decided for me. If you guys want to break out too, then give this podcast a listen for the next 30-ish minutes. Let's get into it. I know I can definitely attest to the fact that for a long time, TikTok just had a chokehold on me. I would do the typical wake up, go on TikTok, scroll. I'm like, I'm so productive. I'm getting up early, 6 a.m. Well, why am I getting up at 6 a.m. but I'm not even starting the day till 8 a.m. because I was on TikTok for 2 hours? I think we all know how to doom scroll. We're very talented at it. I can scroll for like 10 minutes, and once you get past 10 minutes, then time just disappears. And you could scroll for hours upon hours. It literally feels like no time is going by. This is addiction. Now, let's say you are addicted, whatever, fine. But on the other hand, you have goals you want to achieve. Maybe you are a fashion designer and you've always wanted to open up your own little fashion store. Maybe you want to sell vintage clothes, whatever. You have 3-4 hours of screen time a day and you have 0 hours of work you've accomplished. And then you go around saying, well, I have no time in the day. I don't have any time to do what I want to do. Well, girl, if I went on your phone and checked, it tells me that you actually had 4 hours of spare time. So what's the real tea? Because why are you saying that? You have all this time to do work, but we're stuck in a trap. A trap that's keeping us addicted. So, you know why people do drugs? It's a coping mechanism. The same thing can be attributed to your dopamine addiction, your scrolling addiction. It's a coping mechanism. But what is it a coping mechanism for? Well, it's different for every single person, I would say. For me, honestly, I feel like it just felt like I was a little bit trapped. I'm doing school and work at the same time. And then my spare time, it's like, well, like, I don't really want to work hard. I don't really want to do anything. Like, I'm just so tired all the time. And it was kind of a coping mechanism. Like, I live in this reality where I have to do all of these things. And it just felt like really difficult. But that was just me. You know how I discovered that I had this issue? Okay, guys. I'm sorry to say it, but you have to buy a journal. Get a journal. You can get it from Dollarama if you can't afford a nice one. And maybe if you can't write or something like that, we got to be inclusive here. If you can't write, I know you can use a computer. If you can't use a computer, well, I'm sure you could do some speaking into the computer or something. I'm sure there's a way. So don't come for me. There is a way that you can do it. Let's be real here, okay? You need to get a journal and you need to write about your life and figure out why you're coping with social media. And the best way to do it, this is how I did it, because I also was addicted to social media for a very, very, very long time. And only recently was I able to free myself from the shackles of doom scrolling and the shackles of brain rot. Here's how I did it. In the morning, I turned it into a gift. I could earn my scrolling on TikTok if I wrote in my journal. Okay? All I had to do is write one page. Every morning, I would write one page in my journal. Time goes by and I keep writing my journal. I start discovering I actually like writing in my journal during the day. I like writing it when I'm in class. I like writing it other times of the day, and I like writing it before bed. I started to realize I actually like writing in my journal more than I like scrolling, because instead of just being fed constant ideas and constant content, I was creating my own content. I was creating my own thoughts, creating my own, I don't know, like view of the world. TikTok was stopping me from making my own perspective of the world. My entire perspective was seeing other people's thoughts of things and just like reading it and be like, okay, yeah, and the comments say this. Yeah, I agree. Well, why do I agree? There's no thought put into it. By the time you even have a chance to think about what you've been fed, you're on to the next video and you can't really actually critically think about it. But when you write in your journal, you have enough time to figure out anything, to really get into it, really discover yourself and discover the world. Maybe you're lost. Maybe you don't know what you want to do with your life, but you know you want to do something. Well, going on TikTok is not doing something. So go on your journal, write, and figure out what your goals are. I've been trying to figure out my goals for so long, literally years. I've been writing about trying to figure out what I wanted to do. It brought me to making this podcast to share with other people kind of how I handle life and how I kind of turn my life around and dedicating myself to actually working hard and getting what I want. I've gotten lots of things I want, but I haven't gotten them all yet. So you guys are joining me on the path to see this all work out. And I'm telling you, it will work out because I believe in myself. And I believe in myself because I write about it every single day in my journal. I write about what I'm grateful for, and I write about what I want. So many things that I've wanted, I've gotten because I'm grateful with what I have, and I keep working towards those things. How do I keep working towards those things? Well, I write in my journal, keep myself motivated. I know I'm hammering this into your brain right now, but you need to be able to create your own thoughts and your own critical thinking skills. We have an epidemic of lack of critical thinking skills. Go in the comments on any TikTok and you will see people genuinely do not understand the context of anything anymore. Do you want to be one of those people? I'm not one of those people. You're not one of those people. We know how to critically think and make our own thoughts. Go write in your journal and think about the world and make your own consensus on what is happening in the world, what is happening in your life. Anyways, so if you want to know some real tactics on how to actually get yourself away from the idea of brain rotting, this is a little bit of a controversial take, but I believe if you believe in a higher power, and I know there's some atheists out there, I respect y'all, but I hope you have a way to motivate yourself because I certainly do not. And I'm not religious, I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic, I'm not anything. But I do believe in a higher power, and I talk to this higher power in my journal. The reason that I do that is because I feel like someone's always watching out for me, and whenever something good happens, it's like, well, I've been talking to them and they gave me something in return. They're happy that I'm appreciative of my life and they're helping me reach my goals. It's just the whole concept of faith. And as I said, I'm not religious, but you can say all you want about religion, but so many people that are extremely successful talk about how they always write to God or pray to God to help them figure out their goals and figure out what they want to do. It's having that faith in a higher power that's helping them get there. When I talk in my journal, it's like my connection to the universe. It doesn't even have to be to God. It can be to the universe. You're talking to the universe gives back to you. They're helping you figure it out. And we all have friends and family that support us as well, but it's different when it's with the universe and God because it's like they're always there for you and they'll really help you and support you. So, when you talk to a person. It feels like you're talking to a person or to a thing, to a higher power. It really helps motivate you through life. And it's just facts. When you look at so many people who are successful, they believe in a higher power. And again, if you were atheist, period, go off, queen. But I hope you have a way that you can motivate yourself that isn't that. That also lets you believe in miracles, because I believe in miracles and I believe that things happen for a reason. So, yeah. But if we want to get a little bit more scientific with methods to get away from brain rotting and replace that with working on your own projects and working on your own things, I want you to rewire your brain. So your brain is like a computer. It's like you have a ton of little codes making it work. It repeats the things that are told to it, okay? So if you're always telling yourself, you're lazy, you brain rot, you blah, 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 you're going to do that. You are going to do the things that you're telling your brain to do. So if you have negative self-talk all the time and you don't believe in yourself, you're just not going to succeed, because you think you're lazy, so you're going to be lazy. You think I'm unhealthy, you're going to be unhealthy. You think I'm ugly, so you're going to be ugly. Rewire your brain. The easiest way to do that for me is when I write in my journal, I write, first of all the things I'm grateful for, but then I also write, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I'm hardworking, I love working towards my goals, I love doing this, I love doing that. Instead of talking about the things that you don't like, or the things that like, oh, I hate doing work, or I hate doing school, because I know lots of people think, oh, I hate school, I hate work. Well, if you tell yourself you love it, girl, you will love it. Like you're just rewiring your brain to think that, and then suddenly you'll love it, and suddenly it'll be easy. You'll be able to go to school, you'll be able to go to work, and you'll be able to do it. And the easiest way to do that is think of the benefits of these things. So when I go to school for fashion, but I want to have my own business one day. I'm running this podcast. I want to, do this as my business, and also possibly open up my own fashion company one day that's 100% cotton. That's my dream. Okay. I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to do that. When I'm in school, every single class, I'm in my journal and I'm writing, what am I learning in this class that is going to benefit me in the future? There's always something you can take away. Everything you do in life is a lesson. You can learn something from everything, every experience, every class, okay? Let me give an example. So I have this design class. It's called like design thinking. In this class, he was talking about the creative process in a completely different way. We're talking about like making clothes, making creative works like that. And he had this model of brainstorming, this creative process brainstorming model. I took that and I applied it to making my podcast. So I applied my podcast as if my podcast is a design and I can make it. So that's something I learned. It was from a different topic, but it was skills that were transferable that I was able to use for my podcast and make it even better. That's just one thing in school that was applicable to my life for my own personal passions. In every single class, every single lecture, every single experience you have, there's a takeaway. There's something you can take away. That's why I use the journal. Having my journal always on me allows me to be able to write down my takeaways in every single experience and appreciate it. Now, I used to hate going to school, but now I'm excited to go to school because I know I'm going to learn something that will be useful for the future and useful for something in my life. And I'll always write a takeaway when I'm at work. So I work at a front desk job. When I'm at work, I know that, first of all, I'm providing a service to people. But second of all, I get to kiki with people all day. I talk to clients. I get to know them. I build communication skills. So when I'm at work, I'm knowing that I'm building skills that are going to help me in the future. One day, when I have a business or when my podcast is big, something like that, I am going to have to build connections with people in business, in the world to advance my career. Well, perfect. I get to practice talking to people every single day when I'm working and build those skills. I know how to find an interest of them, maybe something we have in common. I know how to ask questions. I know how to know more about them, get into telling myself about me. I know how to make friends. I know how to build good connections, and I do that at work. So I'm very happy to go to work and build these skills, as well as I feel like I'm contributing to a business. At the same time, I also get to learn about how a business is run. So there's so many benefits for me going to work. And then they, in return, get a great worker from me, and we both benefit. So I could be a hater and be like, oh my God, like I hate going to work, blah, 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 because obviously I have to go to work. But I'm actually privileged that I have this job. I have such a great job, a job that will build skills that are so necessary for me in the future. So that's just my opinion. That's why I think that reflecting on your day in a positive way will help change your entire view on life. And that's rewiring your brain. Another thing is be proud of yourself for the very little things that you do. Yesterday, I was in class and we were split up into groups. We had to answer a question, and one person from the group had to summarize the question and speak in front of the whole class of like 30-something people. When it was time to pick who did that, my group, they were all looking at each other. Whenever this happens, I know it's going to be me because I am the most eccentric person. Everyone's always looking at me like, oh, so yeah, who's going to do the speaking? I'm like, okay, obviously it's going to be me, but I love it. I love to speak in public, but I love it because I told myself that. I still felt a little bit of anxiety when I was going to do it, but that's just natural. I told myself in that moment, okay, this is a little bit hard, but I like doing hard things. Hard things excite me. Hard things make me proud of myself. And then I did it. After I wrote in my journal, I just spoke in front of the class. I'm really proud of myself. I love doing hard things. I'm very happy. Okay? Be proud of yourself, of the little things. So when you're rewiring your brain, when you're writing in your journal, and it's not just writing in your journal, it's self-talk too. You could think, oh my God, like that was so hard. Like I had to talk for the class. Like I was going to shit my pants. Like, no. Well, you did it. So why are you talking about this after like, oh, it was so hard? You actually did it. So why not after you say, I'm so proud of myself. I did that and I feel really good about myself. Don't be afraid to congratulate yourself on things that you did that are amazing. You did good. You should be proud of it. And it goes for every little thing. Even after that, there was a break in the class, and I don't really have any friends in this class. Everyone was going and talking to their own friends. I didn't really feel like making friends, but I knew I really liked this class, and I really liked how the class was operating because actually in this class, the teacher is like making us write in a journal, and obviously I'm very passionate about journaling. So I went up to the teacher and I said, oh, hi, I just want to say like I'm really passionate about journaling and I really like how you like integrated that into the class. And then we had a full like 15-minute conversation. We really got along. This is the first time I've ever went up to a professor and talked to them, just like sparked a conversation. It's something that's really out of my comfort zone for me. So when I did that, after I wrote down in my journal and said in my head, I am so proud of myself for doing that. That's something I've never done before. 2 things in one day that I'm proud of myself for. If you really pay attention to yourself every day, you'll notice that when you have a negative self-talk, you're always like, oh, this is hard, like, I'm so weak, blah, 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 blah. You always point out when you're weak, but you never point out when you're strong. I never point out when I'm weak. I always point out when I'm strong. And the moments that I think I was weak are actually when I was strong because I pushed through it. So that's just the like plus of being proud of yourself. It's not cocky to be proud of yourself. When you did something, congratulate yourself. Maybe you want to gift yourself with 5 minutes on TikTok because you did it. That's the time to use TikTok. Not just go on it all day before you even accomplish something. So on that note, when you want to do something, you have to clean the kitchen, whatever. I woke up this morning, the kitchen needed to be cleaned. I did it, and then I made my food, and then I was like, okay, well, I did everything. I also journaled. Okay, let me go on TikTok. I went on TikTok for 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, actually, I'm not even entertained by this anymore. The more you start doing normal things that are productive, I swear on my life, you will start to not like social media more and more because it doesn't feel the same as the satisfaction of real work. I feel so much more proud of myself from A, speaking to the class, B, chatting with the teacher, C, cleaning my kitchen. These all gave me way more dopamine than just swiping on TikTok. And it's something I actually did and I'm proud of. When you are obsessed with social media, you are getting satisfaction from just scrolling and you didn't do anything to accomplish nothing. But when you actually do stuff, you also get dopamine and it feels even better because you can feel proud of yourself. So now you get dopamine and you're proud of yourself versus getting dopamine and you just like are triggered at yourself because you just wasted 2 hours and you're just addicted. And I know this seems like a lot at first to just do a switch like that. Well, you don't have to do an immediate switch. You don't have to go from having 4 hours of screen time to just turning your phone off, whatever, and then working really hard. You're going to burn yourself out because your body's not used to it. You have to go piece by piece and build small little habits at a time, and that'll help you reach your goal. This is what I've always thought. And this is what just my experience. So if this works for you, it works for you. But when I'm like, I have to get something done, I'm going to delete TikTok. That's kind of like, you're not really helping with your self-control, if that makes any sense. So if you need to delete TikTok to not watch TikTok, you have no self-control. So you might delete TikTok, do your work, and then re-download it, and then you watch it for 3 hours again after you've done your work. But that's not teaching you how to have self-control. Self-control is when TikTok is on your phone and you can go on for 2 seconds and turn it off. Self-control is when it is there, but you're choosing not to do it. So if you have to delete TikTok to not use it, you do not have self-control. And that's just something to be aware of. You want to build self-control. You want to know that you can do stuff without having to delete it, get rid of it completely. On that note, if you want to build these habits that I've built, I didn't do it all in one day. It's just not just like one day I just stopped going on TikTok. No. You have to build small habits. So maybe the first thing you do is integrate the journal in the morning. You do the journal in the morning before you do your TikTok. Maybe the second thing you do is journal in the morning and you have to clean up your kitchen. Then you can do TikTok after a week. Next week, you integrate, well, I can't go on TikTok unless I've also done my journal at night. So you take these good habits and you integrate it through your life and add it slowly. Then you can slowly reduce your social media intake and become more productive. If you are on a weight loss journey and you really want to lose weight, but you're on TikTok for 3 hours a day, why would you let yourself on TikTok before going to do the thing that you are so dedicated to doing? You want to get healthy. Well, when you wake up in the morning, you have more than enough time to go on the treadmill. Or on top of that, you go on TikTok on the treadmill. So you have lots of time to do that. But slowly integrate it, okay? You can go on TikTok if you did 30 minutes of the treadmill. Beautiful. Do that for a week. Do that for 2 weeks. Until it feels comfortable, you've built the habit. Now that's a habit in your life. Now you can't go on TikTok without going to the gym. See what I'm doing here? You slowly integrate these things into your life and slowly phase out the brain rot and the social media. That's just what worked for me. And I will say I'm not perfect, but what I also will say is that nowadays I go on my phone and I don't want to watch TikTok anymore. And I'm really proud of myself for that. So let's summarize the video here. Dopamine addiction. We have a dopamine addiction. It's a coping mechanism. Get a journal. Find out what you are coping. Find out what you really want to achieve, what your goals really are. Remember, if you have 3 hours of screen time, that is 3 hours of independent work that you could get done. Find your higher power, find your meaning, talk in the journal, figure out your life, figure out what you want to do, rewire your brain, and slowly phase things out. Slowly introduce positive self-talk, being proud of yourself, and phase out the negative self-talk and the bad habits. Do things that make yourself proud of yourself and get real dopamine. Okay, that's all I have to say today, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for watching this video. This is The Lukey Show, and ciao.